Hey there, dear viewers, this is Magicka Wizard Wars. There's a lot that goes on with this game, besides just the matchmaking and the PvP aspect of it, but it's primarily a PvP game. It is a PvP game. And there are rewards and things that you can unlock, like different robes and weapons and different magics and things like that. But I'm not going to touch upon any of that in this video. I just want to get straight into the gameplay and show what some of this gameplay is like. As you can tell, it's pretty much Magicka. It is its own standalone game. It's not an add-on to Magicka or anything, or an expansion. Magicka Wizard Wars is its own game. This is a... I forget what it's called, deathmatch. I'm not sure what the game mode is. But in this game mode, you need to capture spawn points, and you have spawn tokens. And if you want to take a look in the lower left real quick, you can see that we've got 95 tokens, the enemy has 94 tokens. There's a mini-map with objectives to capture and little arrows pointing where teleporters will teleport you to on different parts of the map, so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on there. So what happens here is every time you take someone out on the enemy team, they have to spend a spawn token to come back into the game. Whenever a team has no more spawn tokens, and you've eliminated the last player, then you win. So whenever you deplete all of your enemy's spawn tokens, basically, and then finish them off, you win. And if you capture all of the spawn points on the map and take them out so that they can't spawn anymore, then you win. And you're going to do this by casting your various spells that you've learned in the original Magicka game, which is pretty cool. In Magicka, you have 5 elements that you can conjure up to cast spells. In Magicka Wizard Wars, you only have 3 elements, which makes things a lot simpler, and you don't lose a lot of the versatility of what goes on here. You can see I'm using my melee attack here with my weapon to get some damage off on this target. I see he's using fire magic, so I put up a fire ward on myself to mitigate the fire damage he's dealing, which lets me tank a lot of the damage while my teammate here comes in and helps deal some damage. I deal some damage of my own as well. I see an enemy approaching, and so I cast a fire beam on him. They've got some enemy goblins approaching us. We're going to try and capture this spawn point. The enemy rushes in, does an AoE fire spell. I put up a shield while I heal myself, and then I put up an arcane fire ward. Actually, the arcane element is called death here because it is the opposite of life. It's going to be difficult for me to call it death when it's been arcane for so long, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep calling it arcane for the time being. Here we have an enemy running away. I finished him off with a fireball, and we capture this spawn point. We can see at this particular point in the game, we have 3 spawn points. The enemy has 1 spawn point. We are at 80 spawn tokens, and the enemy is at 44 spawn tokens. An enemy comes rushing in at this point, and he's on fire. He douses himself with an AoE water spell, and I set him on fire again, chase him down. I see some more enemies approaching my way. He's using a fire beam. I put up a shield to block that fire beam, and then I run over to the teleporter to get away, and then I douse the fire that he set upon me, I suppose you would say. He set me on fire, and then I doused it. Now I'm attacked by some goblins, and there's a good chance that I'm actually going to lose to these NPCs, but instead of that, I put up an earth shield on myself to block all of their physical damage, so I've got no hit points on my bar. I've got like 1 hit point left, and now it's time to use my healing spell. Healing works a little bit differently here than it does in Magicka. In Wizard Wars, you conjure up the life elements, and then you cast it on yourself, and you hold it, so it's a channeled heal that you can use to heal yourself. This player uses the death magic on me, and it pulls most of my life bar down. So I'm having to run away here. I've got a life heal over time on myself to heal myself as I try and get away. I put up an earth barrier to protect me from any enemies that might be approaching. I try to use this teleporter that I'm standing on right here to get away, but it doesn't really work, as we can see, because I don't know what activates or deactivates teleporters. I'm accosted by a couple of enemies here with fire beams, so I put up a shield, and then the teleporter gets me out of there. I'm not sure what made the teleporter work suddenly, but it did work. Set the goblin on fire, melee him down to death, use the healing use the healing elements once again to channel a heal on myself. There are a lot of really technical things about this game that make it great. It's a fantastic and fun game. I'm really liking this gameplay. Casting a fire beam on an enemy here while a teammate casts conflagration on the enemy to finish him off, but that conflagration actually hits me and deals a lot of damage to me. I have to put up a barrier. The enemy comes around and casts a conflagration magic on me, and I'm not able to take 2 conflagrations in a row like that and remain standing, so I actually get taken down. I'm taking a look at the scoreboard here. We can see I'm at 5, 1, and 2. Well, if you got to see that for just a second. And now I have to spend a spawn token to spawn, but as you will look in the lower left, you'll see that we've got 48 spawn tokens. The enemy has 5. We're doing pretty well. it's just a matter of cleaning up their last few spawn tokens. I put up an arcane fire ward on myself, and we've got an enemy who's being set on fire here. There's 3 of us here attacking this one guy as we're defending this spawn point. That's what that big green circle on the map is, on the ground is. That's our spawn point. So we're defending this, and there's an ally who needs some healing right there, so I spend some time to put a healing beam on him to get him back into the fight. Another enemy is rushing up. He's on fire. He's not dousing himself, so he actually goes down. This enemy is attacking me with a fire beam. I put up a shield to deflect it, and then he tries to get around the fire beam by walking. But I go on the other side of the shield. He puts up a shield himself, but shields do not block physical projectiles like fireballs in this game. So I was sending fireballs through the shield both ways and through his AoE shield. And there's the scoreboard. I end up the top player on the team with 6, 1, and 2. So that was the first match that I played just a little bit earlier today, and I want to commentate a second match here. This is another match where we get match made. If you notice in the top, different players are wearing different kinds of robes, and at the top it shows you the stats that are affected by those robes. Like some players will have additional fire damage, but they'll deal less arcane damage, for example. So every robe has drawbacks as well as advantages. So everything's they try and keep things fairly well balanced here. This is a completely different map, but the concept is the same. Once again, 100 tokens, or capture all of the spawn points. So if you have all the spawn points, then the enemy obviously can't respawn. So if you have all the spawn points and you finish off the enemy, so there's no more enemies on the map, then they can't respawn and you just win. So that's another way to win the game. So you either reduce their spawn tokens the way I did in the last game, or you hold all of the spawn points. So some matches can be much shorter than others, and some matches can go on for a long time. It all just really depends. And there are ways to revive players without using spawn tokens. I think that's the case. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% certain. I'm still fairly new to Wizard Wars myself. All right, so we captured some spawn points. You're going to watch the minimap. You're going to want to watch the minimap in this one quite a bit whenever you're not sure what's going on, because you can see how many spawn points we have. Right now we have 1 and the enemy has 2. I snuck around, took their main spawn point, and then I come back. I see their whole team is here. They've got 4 wizards here. So I cast the haste magic, put up a barrier, and I retreat because I'm not willing to take on 4 wizards on my own. Instead, I run toward this middle spawn point and get into the middle instead of fighting the goblin just on the outside. Take out the goblin, and along with my teammate here, we'll pick up the middle spawn point. Now I'm sending a fire beam into the fray, and I put up a fire arcane ward on myself because it's good to have defenses up, obviously. And I'm casting a fire beam on the enemy here, getting him to run away. So he's being attacked by 2 players. There's 1 more enemy left inside this circle. I decided to heal myself while he's got a water spray up. The water's not dealing much damage. It is applying the wet status effect, though, so I've got that to worry about. Not really too much to worry about, though, so I'm going to charge up some fire elements and just cast a typical basic fire spray on him to finish him off. More of his allies are coming to rush in. Right now this spawn point is neutral because they are, well, actually I think they just took it. They just took this middle spawn point. But here I am facing 1 versus 3. I finished off 1 opponent down at the bottom of the screen. Now I'm going to face these others. I put up a lightning fire ward on myself to protect against those elements. A teammate arrives, he puts up an earth barrier, and now I've got my lightning fire ward up, trying to take out these opponents. I'm getting shocked by lightning and such. There's a barrier, bouncing beams all around. I'm nearly out of hit points at this point, so I put up a barrier to guard myself, and now I'm going to cast my number 3 magic on my hotbar. If you cast that in an area, it'll revive fallen friends, fallen wizards, fallen teammates, and it'll also heal anybody in that area for 750. So I used it on myself there to give myself a boost in hit points, and now we've got all 3 spawn points, and 1 enemy wizard remains. Our team has managed to capture all 3 spawn points, and we finish off the last of their team. The enemy team can no longer spawn since there's no more spawn points for them on the map. We've got them all, and we end up winning. Again, I am the top wizard on my team here with 4, 0, and 0. And that was pretty much what I wanted to share as far as Magicka Wizards Wars is concerned. I just wanted to show some of the gameplay. If you guys liked this particular video, if you liked this gameplay, if you liked seeing what was going on here, then let me know. Put a like in the comment. Click that like button. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, just ask away. This game is available on Steam. You can look up Magicka Wizard Wars, and that's really all I wanted to showcase in particular here. And I can go into some of the details about like where you can get gear, how you get gear, and how all this kind of stuff works out in another video if this is something that you guys like. It is still AGDQ week, so I'm not really doing any Far Cry 4, but I am going to be getting back into Far Cry 4 once AGDQ is done. I just like having my free time windows open for whatever speed runs are going on. In any case, that'll do it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.
spawn point. The enemy team has taken the spawn point.